What is up, my people? Welcome to another one. We got a lot to talk about today. I know you guys heard in the news by now. Alex is back, and this is one of my characters. The reason I wanted to show you guys this guy is because there's a lot of similarities between his design and my character's design. And I promise that I designed this guy before Alex. Now, of course, the overalls I did take um from Alex, but then at the same time, this is my personal opinion. I never knew that New Yorkers wore um that type of clothes. To be honest with you, not the one that they got today. The redesign is way more close to what New Yorkers typically wear, in my personal opinion. But when it comes to the overalls, especially the different greens and blues, khaki type colors, that's more of a California and even Texas thing, in my personal opinion. The way he wore the bandana, listen, that's a Mexican thing. Okay, like I don't want to put it out there, but it's the truth. It's not a New Yorker thing. It's a West Coast gangster thing. Which is that's the only thing that confused me about Alex is like a lot of the stuff that he does was more Coast and even South Side, until the new redesign, of course. But that's just me nitpicking on the design because I'm a big character design guy. But I want you to pay attention to his knee pads that I put implemented in his pants. But anyways, guys, let's get started with this. Wait, is this oh, no, wait, this is not the one. I already saw it, by the way, guys. Um, he, I mean, the guy's built like a freaking Dorito on gamma waves or something. Like the dude's, I mean, that's like the dream body, right? Like to have that type of body, dude. Like it'll take a long time, but online people are going crazy for the whole workout routine. I think he has a weight on one of his arms only. I didn't see him take off any of the other weights from his other arms. I think he took it off of his flash. The one where he does his flash flash slap, or which is flash what is it? What is it called? Flash slash or chop? But I mean, dude, the guy is crazy mobile. He got his dive back. He got way more wrestling moves than before. He used to just be like a weird brawler slash grappler, but grappler was definitely like his secondary function. But now, he's just a lot better. He got a spear attack for his level one, similar to Gobert. You got this classic nostalgic skin. There's a lot of good stuff here, man. Like he's everything that I wanted in a character. He has, okay, and everything that I like in this particular game, he has. Now, if you guys remember, the video where I talked about what my wish list was for Alex, I wanted something that goes under fireballs, over fireballs, and through fireballs. And it may be a lot for people to think, oh, like that may be too much to ask for. But for a grappler who doesn't have fireballs, I think that's enough. And I even went into in the last video, or the video where I talked about my wishes for Alex. I went into how my avatar character, I build them that way. I gave him a tiger knee to go over fireballs, and a lariat to go through fireballs. And what I would do with my avatar character is that I would go into making my opponent choose, how he wanted to pretty much get destroyed in the corner. And so, and the same thing goes with Terry. Like, Terry is my main right now. But what I usually end up doing with Terry is getting you to a corner, because Terry has a lot of forward momentum, and he's allowed to. I mean, the way he fights, he gets you in the corner pretty quick. And once you're in the corner, you know, I go into, and I know this sounds annoying, but this is what I do. I go into throw loops, um, and keep them in the corner with crap shoot. Was it called crape shoes or crack shoot? Crack shoot. Sorry, with crack shoot, and then going to throw loops and keeping them there. So and listen, that's more of a game stopper, and that's really how I fight with Terry. I'm stopping the game. I'm not really getting into the mix up. I'm not getting into any of that. I'm just stopping the game each time you try to get flow. A lot of the jumpers have a hard time with me because Crapshoot just throws them back down and keeps them in that corner, right? And then that's pretty much your choice. You're pretty gonna go through a throw loop, or you're gonna get Crapshoot. I mean, crack shoots. And I know that sounds annoying, but guess how much more annoying I'm gonna be with a guy who has different grappling techniques, who has an ability to go under your fireballs, over your fireballs. I don't need to use crack shoot anymore because he has. I mean, he has several options. I mean, he could go into because he has a stance now, and from his stance he could go into his DDT, right? Um, I mean, it's not gonna be good, dude. I'm telling you, because with Terry Bogard, he's not that kind of player. I just make him that way because that's his strong suits that I realize that he has. Keeping people in the corner, getting them to the corner is very easy too because Terry Bogard has a lot of forward momentum, a lot of moves that take up space, you know. And his fireballs are okay, but I just like his ability to go around that mid range and take up space and end up right in front of your face. That's what's really powerful about Terry Bogard. Um, and he's able to beat guys with better fireballs, like for example Ryu, Ken, Akuma. The only person that I really have trouble with when it comes to their fireball, believe it or not, and their game plan is Mai. So somebody needs to do something about Mai. That's my opinion. I think Mai right now, she's probably the cheapest character in the game. There's not a lot to her, but she has a way to win that's very annoying in my personal opinion. But I think with someone like Alex, I think he might be the one to hopefully give me a better chance against Mai. Because I that's the only one where I'm like, damn, like, and I don't feel like I actually feel bad about getting beat by Mai because, for example, when I get beat by someone like Rio, yes, he's top tier at the moment, I believe. I believe right now it's Mai, Ryu, Terry, and I think those are the three main ones that are top tier right now. Even though, like I said, top tier meaning that there's a lot of people playing those characters, and it's fairly easy to win with those characters. But when it comes to Ryu, like the guys that play Ryu, they're so sweaty, that you don't really get that mad about getting beat by a Ryu character because you know that they've done their time and they've done their homework and they have a lot of good shit that they're doing in there. But anyways, it's just crazy to me that Alex has so much of the stuff that I like. By the way, this stage here, it's in World Tour. It's in World Tour, so it's pretty cool that he's gonna be. That's probably gonna be his hideout or his place where he's gonna be at most of the time, which is pretty cool. That's it's also one of the tallest places to be at. I think it's the second tallest place to be at in the city. Um, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, man, like the first thing that caught my attention is him going under the fireballs. And I knew, man, that he was gonna be. Look at that. He was gonna be my new main. I mean, and I rarely say this. Sometimes I say maybe he's gonna be. I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna be maining Alex. Like, I mean, just think about how I built my avatar. With all of those abilities that go around fireballs, and think about how I use Terry. And Alex is pretty much made for me. He's pretty much my character. I love this first super is a Goldberg style spear tackle. Um, there are some weaknesses that I see. I think his heavy kick that came back from Third Strike is probably going to be very easy to counter. But this stuff that I see here, like some built-in grabs to his stances, is going to be a problem for people that are heavy on the drive impact. This one goes through fireballs. That's his level 2. And there's so much, dude. There's just so much that he has. Like, when I first saw him, I was just like, my mind was blown, because it's almost like they listened to what I said, and they're like, we're just gonna give him everything he wants, dude. Like, it's just crazy. I love this shit here where he's like, it's my job. He pushes the camera away. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. Listen, there's two types of characters that I like. Okay, one of them is what I call like game stoppers, or yeah, kind of, I call them game stoppers, but there's not a good name for them. It's just guys that move forward and cut off all of your options until they corner you, and they start like destroying you in the corner, right? Which is basically Street Fighter 6, right? And but Alex, I used to play Alex that way in Third Strike, which is it just whittles you down, takes away all your options. Okay, you want to throw a fireball? Guess what? I'm gonna stop you from throwing a fireball. You want to jump? Guess what? I'm gonna stop you from jumping. And then you run out of options. You're scared of doing now. You're scared of jumping. Now you're scared of throwing fireballs. I got good lows, right? So you don't want to go there either. And then now I start doing my shit. You see what I'm saying? So, and what they do. They stop your flow, especially guys that like to flow a lot, like maybe Jamie. Which, by the way, Jamie, poor guy, right? Jamie got to be probably the worst character. In my opinion, Jamie is the worst character in the game. So a lot of people say Lily, but I actually do very well with Lily. Lily's not that bad. Mm. But anyways, like that's one of the styles that I like. Another style that I like, speaking of Jamie, is Jamie's style. The only thing about Jamie is that he's too weak. Number one, like he's one of the weakest in the game. His health is really low, in my personal opinion. I haven't really checked the numbers, but he just seems to die very easily. His health is not really that good, and his attack buffs come with the cost of you having to drink all the time. Then you're not able to take those drinks to the next round, so you have to start all over again with that. But the reason I like Jamie is because he fits into my not my mental way of playing, but he fits into my flow way of playing. Like, for example, in Third Strike, I was a Yang player. So the guy with the spiky hair, the brother with the spiky hair, that was like praying mantis style. Um, because there was two. There was Yin and Yang, right? So I liked the one with the spiky hair. So and he was perfect for me for just the feel that I like to do. I like how he felt, how his buttons felt, and how I played with him. My playing style flowed well with him, right? Then in Alpha, I enjoyed Gin, right? The old man that's been dying for like how many years now? 30 years, and he's still not dead. But anyways, yeah, he was my favorite in Alpha. Excuse me. And so you kind of see a pattern because those two characters, Yang and Gin, they're pretty much the same character. They have the same praying mantis special move, um, and they have a Rekka, right? They have some sort of Rekka, I believe so. I think Gen had a Rekka, but Gen has stances where he could do different heavy attacks from and long range attacks from, and he also has very quick, short range attacks as well. So, and then in Street Fighter Six, the only character that I like to play um classic is Jamie. Okay, now admittedly most of the guys that I play modern because just the buttons just don't feel good to me. That's just my personal, opinion. The only one that I do like, and it's because it reminds me of Third Strike's Yang and I hope I'm getting his name right. Is it Ying or Yang? One of them two. It's the guy with the spiky hair. And Gen from Alpha is Jamie. He has the same buttons. He has the same flow. He just, unfortunately, he's the worst character in the game. But I do feel his buttons. I do feel his flow. I do feel the way he plays. But it just sucks because he just sucks, dude. Like, that's just what it is. So my only option is to do my other gameplay style, which is what I personally call the game stopper, or the opposite of a flow fighter, right? Which is a guy who stops flow, which is the way I play Terry Bogard or the way Alex is gonna play. Um, so I mean, this is what I guess I gotta be the heel, as they say, right? I gotta stop the flow. But my wish is like, okay, I got this guy now, okay, because I feel like there's no doubt in my mind that he's gonna be my new main. Um, and but I guess my wish now is for and this is what I'm thinking, and I know it's early already, it's early for me to start thinking about that, but I want another Rekka character with good flowy like buttons. And the only person that I feel like could come back and do that for me is Fei Long. Okay. And I know that's far off to wish for Fei Long. People are saying that Fei Long can't come back because he's locked under some type of contracts or whatever. But I mean, we'll talk about it. Okay. We'll talk. But I'm saying if Fei Long comes back, that would unlock my other main. Or because, like I said, in Third Strike, I played two characters, Alex, but my number one main was, Yang. So we're just gonna have to see. But one of the things I noticed is that they fixed his stance. That's good that they fixed his stance because in Street Fighter Five, his shit was all kinds of jacked up. So that's the first thing I noticed. Second thing I noticed, of course, is the stance. He has a new stance that I believe they call the hunter style or prowler style, something like that. Most of his big moves are gonna come from this stance here. Okay, so that's very interesting already. He's going under fireballs. Um, he has way more grabs than I'm used to. This one I really enjoyed, by the way, the one where he cranks his shoulder back and then he throws them. There's a lot of what do you call these? There's a lot of taunts. One of them saying, you're boring the crowd. Pick up your game or some shit like that. Music it's called Go Alex. Hope is Born by Jam Project. By the way, that's another thing that I liked about the trailer is the music behind it. It reminded me a lot of anime music, JoJo's, Saint Seiya, the old school Dragon Ball, One Punch. It's like my playlist, bro. I have different playlists, and every time I want to feel heroic, I go to my anime playlist because you got your Ultra Instinct Goku on there, right? So there's oh no, that's the Jiren one, and then there's right, that's the Goku Ultra Instinct, right? That makes you feel like you could take on the world, and that's kind of like the vibes that I'm feeling from this. And I wouldn't be surprised really if the guys that are singing this probably wrote Saint Seiya. They probably did One Punch, and Dragon Ball Z themes and all kinds of shit. So, yeah, man, they sound pretty good to me. And the only thing is like my problem with it is like it's like it just doesn't fit Alex's new vibes because Alex, he's supposed to be the dark demon now. He's supposed to be this guy that's a heel now. He did a heel turn and he's an asshole. He's always kind of been an asshole, but now he's really leaning into it. And so his in my opinion, his theme should have been less heroic and more like rugged, maybe more bluesy, like something like something like more like grungy, and like you could hear like like you could hear like the rusted cars in the background, like a motorcycle, like you could smell smoke and cat piss and meth just by listening to the music. That's what I thought. Yeah, no. Something like "Poor boy, a long way from home," something like that. I don't know. I'm just coming up with different ideas, but I enjoyed the song. I'm just, the only thing I'm saying is it doesn't really fit his new supposed vibes of him being, like I said, this heel. And but nonetheless, maybe he's just, because he just said he's very professional about this being his job. It could be that he's just taking it as a profession, and that he's just being the heel as his job. It's not really necessarily that he's a bad guy. He just knows that people love to hate him, so he's gonna lean on that heel thing. So it could be that, in which case, then that makes more sense as him, being because, by the way, I'm a fan of a lot of heel wrestlers. Like, one of my favorite was The Rock. The Rock actually started off as a heel, or at least from what I remember, and then he flipped to being a good guy. But at the beginning, he was very much a heel, and I was very much a fan of his, even though he was a bad guy. So yeah, that's just something this is the move that I was talking about, and I really enjoyed. This is this one over here. He I don't know if this is this a go-go plata. I don't know what this is. And then he throws them. It's a shoulder crank, but by the way, there's a lot of jujitsu guys out there trying to claim that all of these moves are jujitsu. They're not. Okay, a lot of martial art, grappling martial arts have these moves. Like y'all need to stop thinking that Brazilian jiu-jitsu invented everything. Like that's annoying. He got his dive back. Another thing I noticed, his heavy kick. I think it's cool and everything, but it loads up too slow. I think it's gonna be one of his weaknesses, in my personal opinion. But it's cool that it's back. Um, DDT off his stance is something that, like I said, I personally am gonna like because that's when you start guessing. Is he gonna go for this? Is he gonna go for a low? Is he gonna go under my fireballs, or is he gonna do a flash chop down the middle and stop my fireballs, or a lariat? I mean, or this here. Like, there's so many things that he has that I like. Um, that is just like crazy. I like how he talks shit and he tells people like, "I don't hear you talking shit no more" or whatever. It looks like a Boston crab of some sort, but just upside down or something. This is what I'm talking about here. Like his chop from close range, of course, stops fireballs, and not only that, but it goes through and gets a hit. So that's pretty cool too. Um, so there's just a lot. He could bait you, right? So his off a stance, because he has two, by the way. I noticed that he has two. He has a regular stomp, and then he has a stomp off of the stance, which is a one-legged kick downwards. That one baits anti-airs. So, and we got this one here, the clothesline over the fireball. Like, I mean, dude, like he has so much in this game that they gave him. Like, I just don't understand how this guy is not gonna be my main. Like, and then the face he makes when he's breaking his leg. Dude's a beast, bro. Dude's an animal. Like, he's like hearing him like cry, and he's like, God, like, God damn, bro. Like, Street Fighter just know what to focus on at what time, and the fact that they focus on his face when he's popping his knee is crazy to me. Um, Personally, I would have done more with him, like in this level 3. I would have made him to where he keeps cracking every bone in his body, and I would call it the the 8 limb punishments or something like that. The 8 punishments, and you just go and just crack every limb, just crack, 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 and then you just stand up and you judgment has been served or some shit like that. Yeah, man, he's crazy good, man. So I like the stance that they gave him. It reminds me of his new generation stance. One of the best artists ever, Akiman, drew this stance. I don't have it with me right now, but you just go to Third Strike and look at his first art that they made for the new generation, and you're gonna see this here. So very familiar stance. Here goes again. Pretty cool, man. He's just, and that's the other thing too. His look, his character design is just, you know, I don't know if you guys remember when Akuma first appeared, and I saw his I guess he has like a something around his neck that's furry, like a scarf or whatever. And I remember saying, man, I wish that they had made that into a vest instead of a scarf, or like a more of a furry a vest. And this is what they did to Alex, pretty much. They gave him, a vest. So that's pretty cool. Um, And so he's a heel now. He's talking shit to people. I mean, look at this. I guess he's a mechanic, or he was a mechanic before he turned pro wrestler, which is pretty cool. I like the pads. Like the pads. I promise you guys, I did not copy the pads for my character. That's just what. That's one of the things that I like, is like how in sync Capcom and me are when the character design. Of course, they're way better than I am because they have better artists or whatever. But the red laces on the shoes, and just the black and red, just everything about Alex's design is crazy good. So all the good shots here. I love this one. I like this one too. Prowler stance, I believe, is what they call it. And this reminds me of the people's what's it called? The people's elbow. Just a little bit, because one of my favorite moves is the people's elbow, right? For The Rock, where he he just does some crazy shit. He takes off the pad from his elbow, and then he just drops an elbow on the guy. There's a lot that goes to it, but that's what I remember. Classic stance. Just look at the hair, guys. Look at how good that looks. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. They fixed his stance, of course. What will be cool though is when he gets tired, when he gets burnt out, they give him his other stance. That would be like his backward leg, his stance when he gets tired. That would be so funny if they did that. This is the band, guys, that plays the song. I think if I'm not mistaken, they also did One Punch, or at least they look like they did. So Kenny Omega is actually the guy who's doing the stop motion animation, or doing the stunt work for this character, Alex, which is awesome. It's like, it's pretty much him now, which is great, because I don't know, I just think it's pretty cool. This is his move, the One Winged Angel or some shit like that. Which I heard is a reference to Final Fantasy, which means that Kenny Omega is a huge nerd. He's way more of a nerd than I am, by the way, because Final Fantasy is like, is way nerdier than Street Fighter. I'll tell you that. It's like Street Fighter is kind of like mid-level, because Street Fighter, in fighting games in general, you still get a lot of gangsters and even some jocks playing that kind of stuff. But when it comes to Final Fantasy, I mean, you gotta be a fucking nerd for that shit. I mean, you gotta be, going into data frames and all kinds of, frame data and all kinds. See, I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about. That should tell you what level of nerd I am. His first super is called the Raging Spear, which is pretty cool. It's probably gonna be like a get off me type of thing, which is always very useful. I don't think he has a reversal, so this could be like his thing to do that. So we're just gonna have to see. There's gonna be a breakdown, pretty sure. Sledgehammer. That's his number 2. Is a sledgehammer. So it's gonna go through fireballs, like as we could see in the trailer. That there's gonna be another option that he has as well. But anyways, guys, let's get into some of this. Let's get into some of this, like, real quick, guys. Now that we have Alex, now that Alex is here, and we don't have him yet, but we're about 2 months away from his release. And I mean, time's gonna fly. I'm definitely gonna meet him. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind, now that I've had so much experience with Street Fighter 6. I haven't been playing it lately. I will admit that, but I am gonna get back on it before Alex gets back. But I want to talk about um season four, right? Season four, what season four is gonna bring, because I don't know. I just feel like talking about what's gonna happen on season four because it's very interesting, and I had some ideas on what's gonna be on season four because I don't think season four is gonna be that crazy. Because season five, in my opinion, is going to be the 40th anniversary of Street Fighter, and in the 40th anniversary of Street Fighter, that's when they're going to do the crazy shit. I feel like in the 40th anniversary of Street Fighter, you can expect some crazy shit on season five. I'm talking about guest characters that we've never seen before. I'm talking about bosses like from the past that we haven't seen in a while, or new bosses. I'm talking about variants like Evil Ryu, Violent Ken, stuff like this. That's gonna happen on Street Fighter Fives, on season five, and but this fourth one I think is gonna be a little bit like less eventful, and I want to talk about that one first before we start talking about the crazy shit that's gonna happen on season five. So on season four, I think personally, what's gonna happen is we're going to get Vega. Okay, we're gonna get Vega because around the time we get season four, we're going to have the release of the movie Street Fighter movie, which the devs, or at least one of the devs, has been working closely with the directors and the people there and the release date or whatever, right? And so I think Vega, since he's gonna be in the movie, he's gonna be a big, attraction for new players. So Vega, I'll put him, as a 99.9% chance of him being in season four. Okay, so Vega is my number one. I think he's the one that's gonna come back. And then least likely from there. Okay, least likely from there, I'd say we get a new character, someone we don't know. There's rumors of a Filipino fighter, a Filipino, and that's been teased since season 2, to where there's this Filipino fighter that knows Eskrima or something like that, some type of Filipino martial arts where he uses a lot of weapons. So he's gonna be a weapons melee based fighter, right? We don't really have a lot of those. We have maybe Lily, right, and JP, and that's about it, right? But we need like real melee fighters, and I think Vega he's gonna have the claws, but then we're gonna have this Filipino guy with like nunchucks and stick fighting and size and tonfas and all kinds of crazy, throwing knives and shit. So he's gonna be, in my opinion, he's gonna be similar to Rolento, but with a lot more weapons and a lot more like crazy moves like that. So we're gonna get a new character. I'm not sure who it is, but I think it's very likely that he's gonna be this new Filipino character that people have been talking about. And then for my third pick, and even less likely, I'm thinking I'm gonna be Sakura. Sakura, the Shoto character that studied under Ryu. She's very popular, and I think it's about time that she comes back, and I think this is going to be her time. So that's 3, right? That's 3 characters. And for my 4th character, I think we need a big boss. We need a big boss to come back from the past. And I think if we look at Alex, the only other alternative, or the only guy that he's missing for his storyline is Gil. I think Gil is coming back on season 4. Okay, now this is a very tame season 4. Okay, I get it. Vega, a lot of people like Vega, right? A lot of people will come back for Vega because he's one of the Street Fighter 2 big dogs, right? Sakura, a lot of people love Sakura. A lot of people are gonna come back for her. Okay, so that's good too. New character, we've been starving for a new character. You know, most of the characters that we've had so far, have been returning characters, have been characters that we've seen in the past, right? So I think we need a new character to come in and make an appearance finally. So those three, are very likely. Gil is probably the least likely, but I think even him is very likely to come back because of Alex. Because Alex has a connection to the Illuminati, for some reason, even though he's you know, from my perspective, he has a connection to the Illuminati. I mean, to the Illuminati, because in the comic books, there's a connection to him and to this cult. And Gil, he's just an interest. In my personal opinion, I've always liked, like philosophical style bad guys and cult like bad guys, which is the opposite of what we get with Bison, which is like a more militaristic, more like MK Ultra type thing. But with the Illuminati and with Gil, we get something more like, I guess, paranormal, or more like kind of creepy in a way, because he has these guys following him around with hoods and shit. So I don't know. I just think Gil is gonna come back. I think that in World Tour we're gonna get a lot of teases from Alex dealing with the Illuminati, dealing with Gil and the clones that he had to fight, because Alex had to fight a lot of those clones that the Illuminati made. And I remember in the comic books, and I read the comic books sometimes, the Udon comics, and Alex was the only one that could beat these clones, right? And then the other thing is, the Illuminati wanted him to take over Alex, or at least that's what I believe. That because he was like a perfect human or something like that. He was perfect specimen because of his Dorito shaped body, So he's very connected to the Illuminati, and I feel like since he's gonna be released here in the 3rd season, I feel like in the 4th season we're going to get his antagonist, his main enemy, and I think Alex is connected more to the Illuminati than someone like Ryu or Ken, in my personal opinion. But anyways, guys, that's my picks for season 4. That's what I think is gonna happen. I think it's gonna be, Vega, Sakura, new character, and Gil. Those are my 4 picks for season 4. I know they're very lame, but and they're very, not lame, but they're very tame. Compared to, for example, what we got for season 2, which was Terry Mai, M. Bison, and I forgot the other one. Oh, damn, what's her name? Elena. Sorry. So a lot more like tame than that. But I feel the reason that's gonna be that way is because on season 5, the DLCs are gonna get a lot more crazy. I think we're gonna get more than 4, because I feel like it's gonna be all hands on deck for season 5, and I feel like we're gonna get like a surprise evil character or something, like some type of, evil boss or something like that on season 5. I feel like that's where we could get someone like Wolverine or Cyclops. Cyclops maybe not so much because his gameplay is too crazy for Street Fighter. Is a little bit more grounded, and I feel like Cyclops will probably break the game unless like I said, unless they make some crazy changes to the game, you know, on season 5 to where they're all allowed to then bring in someone like Cyclops. I think it's more likely that we get someone, if we do get a Marvel character, we'd probably get someone like Wolverine, maybe Deadpool, or Spider-Man, because these guys are a lot more grounded and they would fit a lot more easily to Street Fighter. The reason I personally wanted Cyclops is because Cyclops has a relationship with um, Ryu, at least aesthetically, to where they shake hands. So that would be a good look for kind of cementing that relationship between Marvel and Capcom, which they already did with SNK. Another one that's more likely to appear in the game is someone like Kyo from the King of Fighters. Why? Because we Capcom has already cemented that relationship and shaked hands with SNK in the form of Fatal Fury, but they still have a little bit left with SNK with the King of Fighters. You know what I mean? Which is another kind of relationship that they have. So that could be a possibility in season 5 as well. A lot of the leaks say or mention Goku, right? Which is crazy to think. And I mean, listen, a lot of the leaks have been right in the past when they bring people up like Terry and Mai, and it happened. These same people did mention Goku. Okay, my thing about Goku coming into the game is, like I said, he's not as grounded as someone like Wolverine or even Deadpool. Okay, he's gonna have a hard time fitting into Street Fighter, in my personal opinion, because the guy can fly. He got instant transmission. He's gonna be, he's gonna break the game. If Goku appears in Street Fighter, he's gonna break the game, in my opinion. So I don't think that's likely because of that. But then the other thing is the licensing behind trying to get someone like Goku into Street Fighter is gonna be crazy. And I don't think that's really that possible, for that to happen, in my personal opinion. So I think Goku is going to be off the table, in my personal opinion, as one of the picks, even though it is one of those crazy leaks or predictions that one of those guys said. I just don't think it's possible. I think it's more likely that we get, like I said, Kyo, and it's more likely that we get someone like Wolverine because of the relationship that Capcom has with Marvel in the past. And I think it's more likely that we get someone like from Tekken. Maybe Jin Kazama or Kasuya, somebody like that. That will make it. Even somebody from Virtual Fighter, would be a lot more likely to make it into Street Fighter than someone like Goku, because Goku is not necessarily. They have two different licensings. You got